To start as a filmmaker, you only need a creative mind. Okay, so don't get me wrong, the gears come second because they'll just help you to get the concept of your creative mind in reality. So if you have the passion and the creative mind, and especially you know how to convey a story to the audience, you don't need expensive gears. You literally don't need any expensive gears. And yeah, big productions use expensive gears because the image quality matters, but not every time, especially at the beginning. And there are great documentaries just made up with a handycam which made a revenue of $100,000 just because of the story. Story matters, and storytelling is a skill. And when it comes to filmmaking, story is the thing that drives the audience, that keeps the audience to see what's happening, proceed further of what you have to offer or what you have to say. But to jumpstart as a filmmaker, you might need some gears to start up with. I'm gonna cover them by some gear segments, and I placed this frame around me mainly to capture my last video's thumbnail, which was about some tips to improve editing and editing efficiency, efficient editing and stuff like that. If you haven't seen that yet, check out the link will be in the description after you see this video. And I think I like this frame. It feels like there's a giant ultra-wide monitor behind me. There's actually two monitors. Okay, now let's jump into what we basically need to start as a filmmaker. So number one, a camera. That's a no-brainer. You need a camera to record. It can be a mobile camera, it can be a handycam, it can be anything, or even can be a cinema camera. The main difference between these cameras are image quality. And another thing is, the less you spend, the more you'll get for the money spent in cameras. For example, if you spend $1,000 for a mirrorless camera, you'll get a decent video quality. To start off, you can pick any camera you want. It can be a 700D, it can be a point and shoot camera, it can be a handycam, well they're obsolete I think. It can be the 2014 Alpha 6000, which is I'm using right now. And guess what? I've done several client works too with this thing. The expensive cameras will always give you the edge, but the basics still remain the same. And the chances are your phone has a camera already. So if you don't even own any camera, start with your phone. And modern phones like this have 2 or 3 cameras with them with different focal lengths. You can achieve variety of shots with only one phone without changing lenses and stuff. So that's a really great run and gun option. And phone filmmaking is really being a thing nowadays. Okay, now let's say you have grabbed the camera. Now the second thing you need is lens. For filmmaking, we basically don't need any crazy long telephoto or 7200 or something like that. We need some basic setup. First of all, we need a lens which can replicate the things we see from directly our eyes, and that is something around a 20mm or to 28mm. You can grab a 24mm, you can grab a 35mm also, and then you need a lens which gives the viewer some sort of compressed feeling, like the 50mm or the 85mm, which you basically can use to have the detail shot. And people really love those compressed shots which will have depth, background blur and stuff, and it's really easy to up the production value by using a compressed lens in some of your shots. Take that with a grain of salt, because that is just my own experience dealing with various shoots and various clients. And the third thing is audio. After the visual, you need to concentrate on your audio. and then comes light, because the audio is that important. You can pick a shotgun microphone or a lavalier microphone for very cheap, as low as 10 to 20 bucks or something like that. Use a microphone, place it as close as you can to your talent, because often the omnidirectional microphone of your cameras are not really good in terms of sound quality. And then comes light. Shaping light is a huge thing in filmmaking. You can start off with some basic few LED lights, experiment with them, experiment diffusing them, placing it around everywhere. Like I'm using a 1-point light here because the second light I had was actually stolen from an event. And even if you don't have any lights, there's natural light outdoors, use it. And then an important thing is good memory cards. So if you're not using good memory cards, there's a high chance that you might end up losing footages. So do not forget to invest in good memory cards. And if you need those moving shots, especially if you want cinematic shots or covering weddings and everything, you need a stabilizer. More preferably a gimbal, because Steadicams are kind of outdated now. Everyone's updating to gimbals, and gimbals are getting cheap day by day, and they will give you a lot of value in your filmmaking journey. Those gimbal shots will instantly give your shaky camera shots smooth and take your low production shots to very high. And lastly, a good PC to blend everything together in the editing room, because the editing is a huge part of filmmaking. A lot of magic happens in the editing room. So I hope this helped you, and if you're thinking about jumping into filmmaking, just do it with whatever you have. By trying again and again, you'll gather a lot of knowledge and skills, and that actually matters. And there's no better way to gain the knowledge and experience by trying out by yourself. Enjoy the process. Don't be afraid to try out new things. If you've made it this far, consider leaving a like, and if this video helped you, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.